There be peace and love. Welcome to Satsang. I am always myself. The very moment I don't listen to my mind, there is no doubt about it. So, if that is clear, you have to honor it. Honor it is just to be faithful to what is obvious, is to honor what is a real fact. And when the mind presents itself, know that it's the mind, nothing wrong. There will be no confusion. So it is that simple. And when it is not that simple, it's because we listen to the mind. So, make a point, if it is not yet done, to immediately spot what is mind, what is presented to you, which must be the mind. Let it be in the form of an experience, a feeling, or a concept, an idea, an ideal. That will help more than to try to experience some state which looks like quietness, which looks like something else than the ordinary mind offers. It's a quicker shortcut. So that's what I am happy to tell you tonight. And if you want me to develop more or whatever, please ask. Ask me if it is necessary, if it is still needed, because you see, there are less occasions, very few opportunities in this world where this interest is there, where one dedicates some time to this subject of liberation or of oneself. So, since you come, why not now, if it is not yet obvious to you? And if it is obvious, maybe you can still speak. Because probably if I still had my master alive, I could imagine that I could have some different dialogue today than then. And since I mentioned my master, I'll just tell you one advice I give. It's that find a living master, if it is still there, to solve this very unique particular search of realizing or knowing your real self, or what's reality. you really need a living master, maybe not in the beginning, but to make it happen, to make it the realization possible, one has to keep contact with a living master. That's my, somehow, if I have a conviction left, I keep that one. I really keep that one. There are, of course, very rare exceptions who did differently, but there are exceptions.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
How do you know which living master that would be?
To follow?
Yes.
First of all, they are not such a quantity that you are like in a jungle of masters. Still, there may be a few here and there, because it's not necessary to have so many masters, you know, because there are, I guess it was like this in the time of the Buddhas, and it is still like this nowadays, even though there is more consciousness about this subject. That in the end, for realization, there are not also a jungle of seekers who want that. So. You just stop where you know, it's like clicking, where you somehow, unrationally, you know, I can be held here for that. I think maybe there are many other ways to find it, or you trust so much that you will realize this life. You want to, so the master is bound to appear to you.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Like that.
Thank you.
And the master cannot bind you in any way. It is to free you. So some good smell has to be there about it. It's okay. So, have you met many?
I'm sorry?
Have you met many?
No.
No. And you really want to realize this life.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry. That has to work. Of course, it's not a master who will make you realize, but is reminding constantly, is pointing out to cut off the so-called power of your mind, will help you.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, finally, it's you who realize that you made a mistake to take yourself for a you. Yeah, sure.
I just want to say that.
Sorry.
I just want to say that.
Yeah.
I said that before, but I met you a few years here,
Yeah.
and I was sitting here and I didn't know anything of anything.
Yeah.
I was just looking around and felt so strange, and I feel so. This time, it's not so much I have a question, but I just feel your grace,
Mm.
and I can't say what it is. It's the word that I'm using, but I also feel it in the days, and I just feel that, and I am grateful because I feel that it's simple,
Yeah.
and my heart is deeply touched by
Mm-hmm.
the transition,
Mm-hmm.
and it just helps me reconfirm, just like what you just said. It keeps reconfirming to stay with what
Mm.
I understand is not, it's just to stay with what's in here, and that this is more and more present here,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's coming and going, but I also feel like it's easier and easier. It's coming and going, and that's what I'm understanding. I'm not.
Yes.
And this what's here is, I feel this grace, by your grace, by
Yes.
Yuji's grace, I feel that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I'm very grateful for that.
Beautiful to be grateful to not to search anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. And you see this in and out, know that it's only the old language of your body mind. There was never a in and out. Never. So old habit to think so. As long as the mind has some power or some hypnotism on the individual, of course he will have the power to suggest a few things. So just be vigilant that you are always yourself. The mind may say anything about it, you are not going there. Once for all.
Where do you go then?
Nowhere. Nowhere. You don't use your mind, what happens? Where do you go when you don't use your mind?
Go into nothingness?
Says the mind, but you know, I can still accept this answer, but it's the mind who is at loss, who says nothingness. Okay, so you don't go anywhere, you just stay where you always have been. And that's it. And then there is no question of space or time, because the mind ends there. The mind rises from there. You see? Only the mind creates time and space. He will ask where to go, what to do, in, out, and so all the search is like that, all the self-inquiry or whatever practice you have. And it's necessary till one suddenly is struck by to hear, I'm still busy with my mind. And there is no hope, whatever smart, whatever experience you have with the body-mind, there is no hope to realize with the mind. Because you are already yourself just now, you see? the moment you don't look at your mind. Because the mind is time. So it will always bring the realization afterwards. It will always bring some argument that it's not yet here. So, and the mind presents ideals of realization. How, when I realize the image I have of Buddhas or whatever, Papaji, they live like this. I will be detached, I will be this and that, you see. It's the ideal that the mind figures out this way. It's false. It's better to not to touch even to the so-called guessing of what could be liberation. It will never fit what's real liberation. Yeah. That's why I insist so much. Don't bring the mind just for a split second, you don't need time for that, here. And keep quiet to make the self reveal itself here. If there is any after that, is the presentation of the mind. You know what it is. It's the mind. Means it's not real, it is ephemeral, it is unsubstantial. It has a start, it has an end, and your real nature doesn't have those qualities. Yes.
Sometimes I feel like my mind just doesn't have an off switch. I just feel like I meditate, I pray, I do all these things I feel like I'm supposed to do, and I just feel like my mind just doesn't stop sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if you have some
You see,
helpful...
you meditate through your mind, don't forget. So, in fact, you are still busy with your mind, thinking that you will. It's a way to arrive to your real self. I think now you have to understand that whatever you do with your mind will not bring you to yourself. It will bring you to states. This I agree. Even if they look like, resembles what is described as yourself, but they will never last. So why don't you just see that as you expressed to me? My mind is always busy, but now what is aware that your mind is always busy? What's that?
The part of me that doesn't want to be busy.
Doesn't want what?
I guess the higher self, the part of me that wants to shut it off. I have that awareness that I want it to be calm, and I try.
But don't try to be calm. I don't ask to be calm. I want that you click to that. What is aware that your mind is always there? Because whatever you are aware of, you are not. But you are that which is aware of. Will you be busy to want that your mind stops or don't stop or whatever if you just see that you are that which is aware? Tell me. What do you see now?
Right now, just kind of being. I'm not like. I'm trying to just not be in the mind, so I'm just in the moment, feeling.
Feeling is not in the moment, it is also in the time. Everybody speaks of feeling the moment. It's wrong. Feeling is always past or feeling future. Or bringing past in the now, but it's always something. And that's why you see you fail, because you trust your feeling that you have sometimes this moment. So far you never had this moment consciously, because you trust your feelings. Don't trust anything. I say don't trust your body experience, don't trust your feeling experience, don't trust your mind experience. You are left with what?
Nothing.
Then be happy here. And don't be impressed by the words nothing, because it's also the mind who tries to say something. It's not even nothing. But it's a good direction. So as long as you are a bit bothered by your mind, just try to go back there, in the direction of what you express yourself. Nothing. And then you keep quiet means you don't even hook at nothing. Just for a moment. A moment is enough. If you give a real, this kind of moment to like that, once in a while you will see, oh, that works extremely much better than any very good meditation. Why? Because in meditation you are the meditator first, and that's the trouble. What you do with the meditator. If you have any questions still, please, you ask. It's a good moment also. If you have more.
And what's the best way to get to this awareness?
You are always aware, so you have not to get it. What happens? That's the best way. You are always awareness itself. You have not to get it. That's the best way.
Just realize it's here now.
Just realize that's what I am in reality.
I am the pure consciousness, pure love, eternal.
And also all the rest, don't exclude it. It's because we love more the absolute, the eternity, that we are in trouble. Everything is the expression of your own self. And yet, don't confuse yourself for only the expression of yourself. So don't get it, you are it. That's the trouble of meditation, you see. It's very good. I'm not against meditation, because in the beginning you have to create some path in this jungle of the mind. Sure, of course. Otherwise you don't even understand what is self-inquiry and all that. Sure. But at some point you have to wake up to this thing that the mind will not do it. The mind will not do it. Why? Because it's somebody who wants to arrive to get at some point in time, while you are always yourself. It's not recognized by the mind. It's not recognizable. The mind will never figure it out. The best is to tell nothing, love, eternity, whatever. But still, be careful with those descriptions. Because the moment you don't feel love, then what? Again you search, again you think, oh, I lost it. So, be freed from the compulsion of the mind to name. And remain with what is always there. That's maybe the surrender.
What is always there?
How can I describe? It's yourself, that's all I can say. It's something you cannot catch, it looks like. But even if you cannot catch, it's there. Because you, even if you don't catch anything, you don't die. I mean, it's there. Something is there, but you cannot catch it. Because the moment you catch it, or you feel it, or you experience it, it's the individual. The individual gets realized. It will not be for long, don't worry. You can have experiences of awakenings, of course, but that's not the real thing. Because what's realization is exactly to see, oh, I was never somebody. I was never, or I am I also, but it's an expression of what is. Do you see what I mean?
Yes, I think it's difficult to fully embrace it.
You have not to embrace it. It embraces you. How can you embrace it? You an individual? How can you embrace it? You come from there. It embraces everything. It will be very difficult to embrace it, I agree. But let yourself melt in what is, which is always there. And it appears sometimes only because it's an expression. How are you? Still in the same question? Yeah.
I guess this multifaceted spirit, soul, person on this planet searching for enlightenment.
I didn't understand much what you said. I'm sorry. My English is not very good.
Who am I? Okay, that's a loaded question. A spirit in a body searching for truth and enlightenment and just trying to wake up.
Yeah, that's the search. That is exactly the topic of satsang, you see, is when I wants to feels in the body and mind and he wants to go beyond. You see, in search of, it's exactly what that which makes one search is real self in fact. You see, I, the expression of I am born, I'm this body mind, searching to go back from it where he comes. And if he doesn't do, I feels in the end always unsatisfied, or something is missing, or he wants union with what's real or with God. That is typical of a seeker. So that's why you have to hear again and again. You are always already this all, this God, this reality, this thing which you want to unite with. The only difficulty is that you think that you will realize it or attain it through some means. And which means do you know? The body, the feelings, and the mind. And that will not work, because those means are mortal. They are born, they have a span of life, and they will die. So the results that you can get, any result, will be of the same nature. They will die, they will disappear at some point. So, just keep quiet and just for a moment try not to believe in your mind. Whatever it will present, try that. It will look like a tremendous effort or exercise or whatever in the beginning, but when the mind presents itself, don't go there. Don't go there. You do that every now and then. Don't feed your mind. Try to boycott the so-called power of your mind this way. That's all. But it's great.
Can you give a specific example of how that happens?
For example, don't listen to that thought. Then what happens?
Just fizzles out.
Huh?
It fizzles out. It comes
Yeah. Then where are you left?
back in space.
Okay. Don't use too much those spiritual words.
Back into the present.
Back. Okay. Back means where you always have been.
The origin.
Yes. And all the rest, you see, is like a volcano. It's good to say that here. It's like a volcano. It's expressions of your own origin. But don't confuse expressions for what's always there. That's all. You have to be reminded of that. And don't try in the expressions to find reality. Impossible. You just remain where you always are and know that everything else is an expression. That's all you have to know. But of course, for a while, you have to be reminded again and again, because one gave too much value to the mind and the body and the feeling. What comes in your mind?
Just playing with more questions, and then come back to the origin of beingness.
Origin of beingness means who you are. It's you, huh? It's really what is, huh? It's not like I going back to somewhere. No. You try to describe what is undescribable, and that's what you are, huh? Otherwise you will create a kind of God again somewhere where I goes. No. It's what you are.
I think I have glimmers of it.
You are?
Glimmers, like sparkles of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you prefer the experience of glamour, or you prefer the real thing?
The real thing.
The real thing! Okay, then don't go into glamours of it.
So when I close my eyes right now and just be and not attached to any thought or feeling or body, just that space.
How do you know it's space?
Well, I'm not
Who
sure what
says
the
space?
word.
It's okay. Try to describe. And?
Is that it? Is that, and then what? Is that, I mean, first of all, is that it?
And then what says the mind? If you go there, you will search something much more big bang and beyond and an extraordinary experience. Don't listen to that.
Okay.
And what? Yes, and then what? That's a terrible sentence of the mind.
Right. But to just be there in that moment, is that
Just be
it?
there. You are always there.
Yeah.
You are always there. Because when you say just be there, it's like, let me not go here and there. It's okay, I understand that, but you see, you have to be really clearer and clearer that the mind is translating in a way which we are impressed with, because we gave so much trust to it. So, okay, I understand it, the direction is okay, but still the expression is limited.
Mm-hmm.
You agree?
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, don't care also, but because you want my confirmation, you try to express it.
Mm-hmm.
I like the direction, let's say.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't care much about what you say, but the direction is better. Yeah. How are you today?
I'm sorry?
How are you?
Who am I today?
You are not there today?
Don't know who I am. Not quite sure where I'm observing from either.
Okay.
There just seems to be a slight, well, again, it's just little glimpses of wholeness, if you call it, and then it's just an image, but it's kind of fluttering, which is still an image, but the perceiving is coming from nowhere.
Okay.
The perceiving is coming from nowhere. There's no location of the perceiving.
You see, just wait. Perceiving comes always from I.
Yes, this I is
Okay. Okay.
is cannot be located at this point.
Because it doesn't exist. So leave it alone. And then where are you then? I don't need a mental answer.
Yes.
You must be very clear that even if you have the experience that perceiving and all that is not from I, that it's fake. It's
Yes,
a trick
yes.
of the mind.
Yes, it's still an image. Right?
Exactly.
It's
That's
still an
why I
image.
say
That's the this is the one of the there's a recognition this is a trick,
okay,
but
okay.
it can't. The the mind is going, oh wow, okay, we're kind of at this limbo place, and the recognition is that this is still not.
Okay, it's not it.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
then where are you after that? It's not it. What else do you want? It's only the mind who wants to figure it out. It's only the body-mind who wants to experience it and feel it. Don't go there anymore. Or if it presents itself, ignore it. At least for a while, to make it a radical cut with something which anyway is not real.
When I try to ignore it, sometimes it can't be ignored, but oftentimes the ignorer pops up, which again is just needs to be ignored. But
Ignore.
it sort of spins, and that's all that spinning is seen. But
But then keep quiet. You forget to keep quiet. Okay,
yes,
you see, something is seen, you get somehow, it looks like closer and closer, but there is vicious circle
Yes,
because you
yes.
will always make that loop.
yes,
Huh?
Yes.
So what? You have to keep quiet there. You have to keep quiet at some point. Okay, you have seen, keep quiet. What does it mean keeping quiet? Keep quiet. Don't go even into that extremely intimate small loop. Because otherwise, you are in it. Leave it alone also. It has no value. No value. Again, again, and again. Till it will disappear in itself. This again. You're convinced?
No. I mean,
Why?
I guess the it just seems very clear when the I don't know what the right word is. It's just called wholeness, or the consciousness is aware. It's just I don't know. Maybe this is an experience, but it just seems very obvious, very clear. It doesn't, not a feeling, not a sensation, not. There's just that. Everything just collapses. The question is gone. Poof. Boom. And can't hang on that experience because that's just an experience now. It's not a memory. But
What's the trouble?
it doesn't feel resolved.
Resolve?
Resolved. Like,
Because you go in your mind again.
Yes.
Don't you understand? Try, because it's a small thing, but it is essential.
Yes.
You see. Okay. You sometimes looks like you can keep quiet. You don't care about what appears. Yeah?
Yes.
Understood that?
Yes.
So, but it looks it sometimes, because now you speak of memory. So it means, and you said no to my question,
Yes.
so you are not convinced. Why are you not convinced? Because you listen to your mind. Or, when you were just without being interested in your mind, it looked like it was it. Why ever do you still trust in your mind when it presents itself? The mind, maybe you have this idea that the mind will never present itself, or you will be so extraordinarily aware that there will be like no impression, you can ignore it. No, my dear. The mind, sometimes it will look like, oh, it's not important, and you have those moments. And the mind will present sometimes itself with its full, whatever, extraordinary Baroque creation, and impression and experiences. But once for all, you know it's in the mind, it's the expression of the self. And you will not be better because you cannot trust the mind. And you don't have an idea of how it has to be realized. Because to be realized, it's not only just like I am here in the beginning, completely, let's say, with no mind. Okay? If I was mistaking realization for those moments, but then I would sit like you to listen to someone. Because it comes and goes. Okay? So don't confuse the expression of absolute or whatever you describe very well. For it, everything is an expression of yourself. So, how can you see that? You must be that awareness to see those things. So it's done. It may not be done because you still have an interest of knowledge, maybe, or to figure it out, or to still experience something very juicy. Yeah, but just question yourself about that.
The most precious experience is when there is not the sense of a person here. Nothing. Nobody to care about nothing.
You know, that's called realization of what you really are.
That's all.
But don't take
Yes.
the nothingness which is happening at that moment for it. Who you are can give that experience to somebody and can give its contrary too. All is an expression. Who are you? That which allows that to be, to express, and that you always are. Don't expect to be always like this experience of just being yourself in that way. Yes, it's a big, how shall I call that? It's a big giving up of the human ideal. Do it. That was the greatest teaching of my master. He would never bear someone to just be fixed in a state. What a luck! Because they come and go anyway. Yeah.
Do you want us to ask questions now, or would you rather us to be silent?
No, whatever. It is your satsang.
Well, I'm pondering on this that we, and maybe me, I get identified with the past, my family,
Yeah.
maybe the government,
Yeah.
stories, traumas, and
Yeah.
other people's traumas, you know. And
That's the individual, huh?
and the story that keeps going on.
Mhm.
Like, why does that story continue on?
Mm.
Why do we tell the story? Why can't it just be dissolved away?
When you will die, don't worry. Yeah.
Instead of just become the observer of it. And then it's...
But because, you see, meditation can bring you to observer, but it will be for a while. It's always the same. So what do you want? Do you want some temporary states that you can visit more and more, especially if you practice a lot or whatever, or it becomes a bit natural? But don't worry, they will go away. And then, oh, you are satisfied like this and it's great. I have nothing to say there. But some, a few, will not be satisfied because they really see it still goes. So it cannot be it. And they are right also. So here, one has to be very uncompromising. It's not even those states of beingness, or I don't know how you call it, you would call it, or the observer. You cannot maintain those states all the time. It is a lie. But if, again I repeat, I don't want to convert anybody. If it is great for you, it's great. But some are not satisfied with that. I don't know why. I mean, it's like that. So for those, I say, is not yet it. That's all, you know. I think here everybody is just free with his own demand. just to satisfy his demand, his surge. And if it is satisfied in some other ways, it's perfect. But I know that for myself I was very happy to meet a master who was not satisfied with that, because I had that demand. But it's so individual.
But you know, like I'm studying NVC to be compassionate to somebody's story.
Yeah.
But instead just say like, get over your story. You're not your story, you're not your past.
But you know...
Wake up to your
Yeah.
true self. Quit telling me your story.
You want to tell that?
No, maybe say that, to somebody,
But
to
you
myself.
know, it depends. If that person wants to behave differently, you cannot speak like that. It will not help. It depends on whatever someone wants. You cannot say to someone who wants to be rid of a terrible drama, for example, and wants to be at peace, then probably you have to reply at some point psychologically. Hmm? But if somebody says, I suffer, I'm never satisfied, I have known so many things and still somehow I'm searching, I want to know what Buddha said and so on, then it's another kind of reply. Then maybe there we say, forget your story. But it will not make sense if somebody comes to be helped just to remove the drama or to feel better in life without being so much suffering with the drama. Then you have to help in a certain way, and it's not my way, so I cannot help really there. You understand what I mean? Everyone has his own ways. Everyone replies to a certain demand. You cannot do everything at the same time. I am clear or not? No?
Maybe not that last part, I wasn't following you, but it
Yeah.
sounds like everybody has their own path.
Yes, it
And
looks
just
like.
just acknowledge and accept that.
It's not that you accept it. Whenever you have a demand, or I don't know better word, but which is really essential to you, go for it. Go for it, whatever it is, you see. What do I want before I die at least to have fulfilled? What do I want to be fulfilled before I die? What is the meaning of my birth? Sometimes you have to search for a long time what it is. Some don't search in this way, but some, and then in the end, they find their path. They find the answer to what they demand. Everybody doesn't want always the same thing. Some people, they want to be well in life. There is a path for that. Here it looks you have even to ignore life. Okay, whatever life you have, it's there. It will flow. I want to realize, who am I in reality? It's a different path. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And one is not better than another. It's just that someone needs this and someone else needs a whiskey and someone needs a tea and someone needs coffee or whatever, Okay?
So you talk about not needing meditation or anything to go to a state, because that's just your mind putting you there. So is this a daily? I mean, I'm trying to understand
Yeah, okay.
to be in this state of beingness, or I don't even know what the terminology is. But is it a daily practice? Is it just being? Because if you're not meditating, I'm
You know,
not sure what.
Self-inquiry means inquiring to whom this happens, for example, or who wants to search, who is this I always express I. You can see it's a kind of practice, of course, but the difference is that this practice brings you at the source of I, while other practice may bring you somewhere where it's maybe nowhere, but it happens to I, so I is not questioned. So with self-inquiry, I, which looks such a concrete base, is questioned.
Okay.
So do it whenever you like, and it may not be long also, you see. It's just like the benefit of it is to just break the so-called continuity of time, to allow yourself to just realize, oh, I'm something else than time. Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Thank you.
So that's hard, but
Yeah.
it's tremendously different. Yeah, please.
A little bit of confusion
Okay.
about, let's say, about the mindset. When I search
Yeah.
for the truth,
Yeah.
is that always related to my mind?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
everything is already here. Everything is
Yeah.
is already perfect.
Yeah.
But to search,
Yeah.
then your
It is in the
mind
mind.
starts to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, sure. But in the end, it's to hear, don't search, isn't it? So, where do you place yourself? One speaks of liberation because one still believes in the search that is someone. Otherwise, all this collapses, no?
So just be happy.
Surely one gets happy when he doesn't search anymore. Surely.
Are there any interesting experiences you've had with your teacher that you'd like to share? Of your awakening or your coming into awareness?
You know, it's quite indescribable to have a link with a teacher because it's not a relationship, in fact. It's just to try to hear what it tries to tell you, to free yourself. So it can be in very anodyne way, you would say? Anodyne? No. Could be not like a teaching like we speak in satsang, but it is any word you will say is taken as a teaching. You know? So, for example, I tell you, it was in the beginning when I met him, met him. He was sleeping in one place, I was sleeping in another, and I had to go to wash my face when I woke up, and he was already sitting, he was always waking up earlier than me, and half awakened, I passes very discreetly to the sink, and he does like this. I say, I just come, I wash my face. Too late! If you don't search, what does it mean? But if you search, you take it, oh my God, I was not surrendered to whatever it tells me. You take it as a teaching. You see, it looks like nothing, but for a disciple, he would never say that I was his disciple because he was never taking himself as a master, but I took myself for a disciple. It's something. So like that, daily life is like that. It's a master. And sometimes there are great moments like satsang, more, let's say, official, where you speak only on that. But in fact, with the master, whatever he will express points out to it. But it took me time to see, to really realize that the essential was to question this I. I don't know why, I had such a dump years. But at least in the end, I was very lucky. You see, one is very hypnotized by the fact that he really thinks up to the end that he will experience it. That he will experience beingness or whatever it is. That is the difficulty for a few.
You're seeing the end of to death? At the end of death? Is
No. What did I say? That an individual, a seeker, somehow, a few, like I was, have this a blind spot that even if he hears it's not an experience, realization is not an experience, he may understand that very well, but the blind spot is that he still wants to experience realization. Mm-hmm. So who wants to experience a realization? An individual who feels his bond. And that itself is the base of, that has to be questioned. Which has to be questioned. But that's why there is satsang. You see, one comes again and again to hear better or to be reminded. Yeah.
So is realization the goal then, or not?
Realization?
The realization is the goal, so there is no more searching, ultimately. Is it?
When you finally understand that if you search, you are in your mind, then you just give up. Something urgent? Thank you very much.